I was born into poverty and raised in a small town where nobody had any money, not even me. But that didn't stop me from building the mindset of a champion, and the same is true for you. No matter where you were born or how much money your parents have, you can still build the mindset of a champion. So today I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. Now, the first step to building the mindset of a champion is understanding what most people don't. I grew up hearing stories about my grandfather. He used to tell me about his childhood and how he managed to become one of the richest men in our city. I remember sitting in my rocking chair listening intently to every word he said. He told me about the day he left our small town to go look for work in the city. Back then, our village didn't even have electricity or running water, let alone jobs. So anyone who wanted to make something of themselves had to leave. But my grandfather wasn't like the other villagers. When he arrived in the city, he didn't look around waiting for someone to hand him a job. Instead, he went straight to the market and started selling oranges. He worked 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and saved every penny. In less than 2 years, he had enough money to open his first shop. My grandfather understood something most people don't. He knew that if he wanted a better life, he couldn't sit around waiting for it to happen. He had to go out there and create it himself. That's the first lesson we're going to learn today. The world doesn't owe you anything. If you want a better life, you have to go out there and grab it. The next step to building the mindset of a champion is understanding that the mind is everything. You can't be a champion if you have the mindset of a loser. I know this might sound harsh, but it's the truth. Your thoughts determine whether you succeed or fail. You can't have negative thoughts and expect to achieve greatness. Here's the thing, we all have limiting beliefs holding us back. These are negative thoughts that we repeat to ourselves so often that we start believing them. For example, I heard this from one of my best friends. He said, "Everyone in my family has been poor their whole lives, so I guess I'm just not cut out for money." Or this one, "Money is hard to come by, so it's probably not worth trying." These are limiting beliefs. They hold people back and keep them poor. If you want to build the mindset of a champion, you have to replace these thoughts with empowering beliefs. Here's an example. Instead of saying money is hard to come by, say I'm willing to put in the work to earn money. By changing your thoughts, you change your reality. Your thoughts determine whether you're a winner or a loser. If you think like a champion, you will act like one too, and that leads us to the next point. A champion's mindset is always looking for ways to improve. Think about any successful person you know. They got there because they were constantly learning and improving. It doesn't matter if you're an artist, a scientist, or a businessman. If you want to be the best, you have to keep learning. When I was starting out, I would spend hours every day reading books and articles about business and investing. I did this for years until it became second nature. I learned from some of the best minds in the world and used that knowledge to help me make decisions. Today, I've read over 300 books on business and finance. I listen to at least one audiobook a month, and I watch countless YouTube videos. That's how I stay sharp and ahead of the curve. Look, being a lifelong learner isn't just something we say. It's something we actually do every single day. There are people out there who are more talented than you. People who are smarter than you. There are even people who work harder than you. But what sets champions apart from everyone else is their willingness to constantly learn and improve. As the famous author Paulo Coelho once said, the secret of life is to fall 7 times and 8 times. To rise up every time we fall, champions have this unique ability to pick themselves up after falling down. They don't let setbacks keep them down for long. I've seen this firsthand in the businesses I've owned. I've had my fair share of ups and downs, but it's how you handle the downs that really matters. When things get tough, that's when you need to dig deep inside yourself and find that inner strength. That's what separates the winners from the losers. A champion's mindset understands that success is a team effort. I believe that the people you surround yourself with have a huge impact on your success. That's why I only surround myself with positive, driven individuals who inspire me to be better. When you hang around negative or unmotivated people, it's hard not to absorb their bad energy. On the other hand, when you're surrounded by positive, driven people, you can't help but feel inspired. In fact, I made a conscious decision to move to a major city because I knew it would put me around other ambitious people. That decision paid off big time because it forced me to level up if I wanted to keep up with everyone else. Look, I'm not saying you have to change your entire social circle. All I am saying is that it's important to be mindful of the kind of people you surround yourself with. If you want to build the mindset of a champion, choose your friends wisely. Every champion I know has one thing in common. They understand that the journey is more important than the destination. It doesn't matter if you're an athlete, an artist, or a businessman. If you're not enjoying the journey, then what's the point? That's why I love what I do. I enjoy the process of building a business from the ground up. I love the challenge of solving problems and finding creative solutions. Sure, it would be nice to get rich quick, but I'd rather build something that lasts. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. Being an entrepreneur isn't easy. There are times when I want to quit. There are times when I feel like giving up. But that's when I remind myself why I started in the first place. I started because I love it. Because I get excited every morning knowing that I get to work on my own projects, because I enjoy the challenge of it all. If you want to build the mindset of a champion, then you have to find what gets you excited. You have to find what makes you love what you do. And that brings us to the final point. A champion's mindset never gives up. There's a quote I love that says, "Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." That's so true. I've fallen down countless times in my life, but each time I got back up, I came back stronger than before. I realized that failure is just another excuse to learn and grow. When I started my first business, I had no idea what I was doing. I made a lot of mistakes, but I learned from them and kept moving forward. My first business didn't work out, but that didn't stop me from starting my second one. In fact, it made me hungrier and more determined than ever. Champions don't let setbacks keep them down for long. They pick themselves up and keep moving forward. I want you to remember that the next time you face a challenge, don't let it defeat you. Use it as fuel to make you stronger. After all, as the great Maya Angelou once said, if you don't like the road you're walking on, build another one. Thank you for watching this video, Alex. And remember, the world is yours for the taking. Go out there and make it happen.